I'm Coulter, and I'm a VTuber. But that's not important. What is important is Pokemon. I'm nuzlocking every region and every generation with a different twist for each generation. This time, we're doing the Kanto region in Generation 1. The twist for this generation is... there is no twist! We're doing everything old school, that's right. That means no rare candies, no speed-ups, and hours of grinding. Yep, we're doing it like they did back in
1998, even though Nuzlocke didn't exist back then.
I stream every single one of my runs live on my Twitch channel, so be sure to drop me a follow there if you want to catch my suffering live and in stereo. So, without further ado, let's move on to the Nuzlocke! When we last left off, we just about made it to Lavender Town through Rock Tunnel, making our way through a gauntlet of trainers, including our rival Rat, as he mourned the, supposed death of his own rat in Pokemon Tower, which hopefully gave us enough EXP to actually challenge the gym today here at Celadon City. But before we make it to Celadon City, the first thing we've got to do is clear out the rest of the channelers, or whatever the trainers are called, in Pokemon Tower. Now before that, it's time to check in with Live Coulter and see exactly how many hours of my life I've spent on this game. 12 hours and 47 minutes, and we have 3 badges. We're not even halfway through. When we beat Erica, we'll be halfway through. Well, you heard the man. Beating Erica officially takes us halfway through to the end point of the video game, and boy am I glad to be even slightly, remotely close to the end point of this video game. But before rushing headfirst into Celadon City, I decided to take a moment, take a breath, take a step back, and look at the levels of our Pokemon. And I noticed that Toast, our lovely, lovely Hypno, is getting very, very close to the level cap, which means it's now time to focus our leveling efforts on other Pokemon. Now, while I said other Pokemon, I didn't say the right Pokemon, because me, in all of my infinite knowledge, I decided that we should focus our leveling efforts on leveling up our Pikachu. That's right, the electric type, going into the grass type gym. I made this decision at the time because I learned in the previous episode that Pidgeotto didn't actually learn a single flying type stab move. And I thought that it would be a waste of time to pour levels into a Pokemon that I was going to replace later on down the line with a better flying type. Also, at the same time, I realized that Nidoking, a ground type, would not be the best person to send headfirst into the grass type gym. Now you may be wondering, hey Coulter, why didn't you choose the most obvious choice? The non-electrified rat in your party that would be significantly more useful than the electric rat that only knows electric move. Well, I actually don't have a good answer for that. The closest thing to a good answer I have for you is that Raticate knows Water Gun, and in my mind I've been using it as a sort of pseudo water type in absence of an actual water type, which we're gonna get later on in the run. But besides that, I genuinely have no other answer. While grinding against trainers in Pokemon Tower, I was reminded of an actual water type that I really loved, that I really wish I could have used this run. Fellow Squirtle Chooser, of course, I love me Big Man Blastoise.
Big Man Blastoise.
Don't you love you some Big Man Blastoise?
Big Man Blastoise.
Putting my infinite admiration for Blastoise aside, the more I played this game, the more I realized that this 27-year-old game had some issues. No more room for items. Oops. Pay close attention, class. This is one of the things that I don't miss from old Pokemon. The fact that the bag is more realistic and it's like a real bag, and there are limited slots. Surprise, surprise, I don't play this monster collecting JRPG for its realism aspect. What a shocker. But while I was grinding up against these other trainers in Pokemon Tower, something else caught my eye and sparked my imagination. I am sorry for what you're about to hear. I feel like these channelers are low-key hidden baddies. You know? I feel like they're low-key hidden baddies. I feel like if there were younger sprites of channelers in later games, they'd be just as bad as the Hex Maniacs from Gen 6. Which, whew! God, I love me the Hex Maniacs from Gen 6. Yep, you are never gonna hear the end of that when we finally do our Kalos or our Gen 6 Nuzlocke. I am sorry in advance. Again. Channeler / Hex Maniac charge tangent aside, We get through the rest of the trainers in Pokemon Tower with relative ease. No close calls, no nothing. And we, regrettably, managed to level up our Pikachu to the same level our Drowsy and soon-to-be Hypno is at level 29 by the end of this entire excursion. The novelty of beating spirit mediums surrounded by the dead and buried bodies of other people's Pokemon has worn thin. So, I make my way down to Route 8 for a change of scenery and for our next encounter. But before going for our Route 8 encounter, I had to battle and crush the dreams of a local gambler and schoolgirl before I could make my way into the tall grass. I make easy work of the gamblers Growlithe and Vulpix before also making easy work of the schoolgirl's Clefairy. I step into the tall grass, and to my delight, my encounter was a Kadabra. Now let's see how my tactical genius will decide to go about catching this wonderful, wonderful beast. We are going to use Flash. If it kills Kadabra, I'm assuming Kadabra, since it's a second stage evolution, even if it crits, it shouldn't kill Kadabra. It should bring it low. And once it's low, we catch it, okay? If it kills Kadabra, I'm a fucking clown. This is what we in the industry call foreshadowing. And I just threw away my one chance. Let's hope. Kinesis shouldn't do too much. Why did I think that using the incredibly high crit rate move Slash into the incredibly physically frail Kadabra wouldn't KO it at this level? I don't know. I can't tell you. But we're gonna move on. Putting that unfortunate mishap behind us, never speak of that again, we go back to doing what we do best, and that is hoovering up EXP from every poor trainer that seems to get in our way. We make our way down to this strange gauntlet of 4 trainers all facing opposite directions who carry nothing but baby Pokemon. So we do, again, what we do best, and kick the babies. After sufficiently kicking the babies, I have finally made my way down to Celadon City, where I can hopefully chip away at the mountain of progress that is Pokemon Yellow. After arriving to Celadon City, I ran straight to the gym and challenged Erica without any dilly-dallying, is what I would like to say. Instead, I got lost in the massive supermarket that Celadon City somehow randomly just has. So I just ran around and explored the multiple floors of the supermarket and did nothing for a little bit. But after running around and doing nothing for a little bit, maybe something in my mind said it was about time to actually progress the game. So I slowly moseyed my way down to the gym and saw this. This gym is great. It's full of women. Excuse me, sir. Alright, look at Pikachu! Pikachu's looking around. He doesn't even know how to react to that. After potentially witnessing a crime, I make my way into the gym that is quote-unquote filled with women, where I turn these lovely ladies' Pokemon into nothing but EXP for my lovely Drowsy, who is on the verge of finally ascending into godhood and learning Psychic. Finally! Now we get fully evolved Psychic-type Mon. Even if we got Kadabra, we would have been stuck with Alakazam. So, we would have been stuck without Alakazam, because we need a trade Mon. Oh! Oh, we went from ugly to uglier! Jeez! Okay. Okay, wait. There's more. There's more people here. Maybe I can get my rat. Aren't you the peeping— No, that's not me! That's not me! I swear! Look, I'm telling you! It's a little girl. It's a little girl. Why would I be a peeping Tom to a little girl? After being accused of the crime that I just witnessed, by the way, I put that little girl in her place and sent her grass Pokemon out to greener pastures. After taking care of the accuser, it was time for me to take care of the other 4 trainers that were in the way of my battle with Erica. These 4 trainers were not too much of a challenge for our Hyperfang rat, so I run through them with ease. Of course, you know, barring the 7-turn sleep that you're witnessing right here, everything else was relatively smooth sailing. This brings us to the penultimate trainer in the Celadon City gym. which isn't necessarily too hard. This just gives me a chance to rant. I absolutely hate Gen 1 rap because look at how much trouble it's giving me when it shouldn't be giving me this much trouble at all. If any of you have played Gen 1 Ranbats, you will understand my pain. Gen 1 rap really, really hurts. Rant aside, the battle with Erica finally starts. I send out my Hyperfang Rat to deal with Erica's lead, Tangela, who almost dies to it. So I hard swap into Hypno. Hypno gets wrapped for about 3 turns before finally turning the tides and using Psychic to one-shot both Tangela and Weepinbell and eventually Erica's ace, the Gloom. Thank you, Psychic, and thank you, Hypno. Thank you, Miss Erica, for going very, very easily into the night. You're remarkably strong. I must confer you the Rainbow Badge. Thank you for the Rainbow Badge, Miss Erica. Erica's defeat leaves me satisfied, but it also leaves me with a looming sense of dread because our next level cap is disgusting. What's our next level cap? This! Ah! That's right, our new level cap is a full 18 levels above our previous one. Good lord, have mercy. Despite the level cap being significantly farther than the previous one, I am filled with optimism. Because this means we are slowly inching towards the endgame of Pokemon Yellow. So, that just means it's about time for us to say goodbye. So let's leave it to Live Culture to finally say goodbye to you lovely, lovely folks for this segment, and see you guys next time. Thank you so much for stopping by. Keep an eye out for the next video posting out next week. Keep this video on if you want. And don't forget to sub to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Drop a like on the videos. And if you haven't followed me here on Twitch, follow me on Twitch too. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you very, very much. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.